Hello everyone, this is Vijay Kumar. I'm going to discuss the process of test case creation in the Loop testing toolkit. I will use a running instance of the testing toolkit, which is deployed in our development environment as part of the Loop Helm chart.
These are the test cases. This is the name of the test case, and in each test case we can add requests. So this is like a folder in the Postman collection. These are like requests. So to import test cases, we can import a complete folder of the test cases. For example, go to collection manager. These are the folders, and in each folder you can find the JSON files. So we can split the test cases into files and folders and subfolders. So if we load this file contains one test case with 3 requests. So we can select multiple files and run all the test cases in those files. To import a folder, you can click on this import folder. Then we have a repository called testing toolkit test cases in the Loop. So after pulling down the latest changes, you can go to collections folder in that, and then hub. And then here I'm going to load the golden path or provisioning. Let's load provisioning now. And click on upload. Then you can see provisioning here and the subfolders and the files. So if you want to run the whole provisioning, you can click on this, and all the test cases are loaded now, and you can click on send button to execute all the test cases. If you want to run only one file, like if you want to provision only testing toolkit DFSP, you can check that and send the template. So this is about how to run the test cases and how to import them. So to create a new collection, you can click here, create a new folder. A new folder will be created. Now you can rename that. So if you want to create a provisioning for CGS like this, you can rename that and create a new file in that. If you want to create hub setup first, then hub setup.json. Oh. Yeah, it seems there is some problem creating a new file in the empty folder. Let's load the provisioning collection and try to create folders there. So this is provisioning. Let's create a new folder here, like CGS. Okay, and then let's try to create a new file. Okay. Okay, I will resolve that issue. So you can create a new file like this, And in that file, you need to add the test cases. Select that file, only one file, and then add test case. Setup hub or something. So this is the test case. In this test case, you need to add the requests. Add new request. Let's see the golden path here. Sorry, setup collection here. So this is post participants hub accounts. I think this is central admin, right? Central admin API.
Yes.
Okay, then post participants. We need to select the API first, central admin, and then post participants hub accounts. Post participants, this one. Okay, so here we need to provide the path parameter, which is hub here. Is it variable? No, it's not variable. So we can just copy that here. And then if there are any query parameters, we can provide those. Then headers. We should add all the headers here. So FSP IOP source. And required header. Okay. Add custom header. You need to click on add custom header here. If we have headers in the in this, if we have any required headers, then we can click on this button, add required headers. That will populate all the required headers. But if we want any custom header, then we can click on this and provide the name of the header. Then we need to provide the value. Okay, so after providing all the headers, we can go to body. Okay, so this is variable here. And is there anything in the pre-request? No. So this is variable. I think this is from the environment. So let's see the environment. These are the test cases, and you can see the input values tab here. This is the environment in the environment, like the environment file in the Postman. These are key value pairs. So you can access these environment variables in the test cases. By clicking this button. You can, if you know the syntax, you can directly write that. So click on this button. We call it as input values. So input values and the currency here. So this is the format. So you need to copy this, paste it here. So this is the format to access the environment variable in the testing toolkit test case. So this is how we build the request, and we need to provide the URL. So in the Postman, we are sending that request to central ledger. So we need to provide this here. override with custom URL, and we need to provide that URL here. So we can maintain those URLs in the environment variables as we do in the Postman. So let's click on the configurable parameters and select the host central ledger, then paste it here. So you can see here. So if we send this, if we click on send button here, it will send this request. You can see the request in the request tab here. Let's see what happens. Okay, I have sent the request. So you can see the body sent here and the headers. Let's see the response. Okay, response is timeout, 500 timeout. Still these parts are not ready.
Yeah, I think you need to redeploy. There is something wrong.
Okay, okay, sure, let's redeploy. Uh, okay, I loaded the P2P Happy Path test case. So here we have 5 requests. First, we are adding the participant to ALS, then provision party in the simulator, and then get parties, post codes, and post transfers. So there are 5 requests here. Let's observe the third request. The first 2 requests are synchronous because this is ALS admin API and this one is simulator API. These 2 are synchronous. So yeah, we can see the request here. So we provisioned the account lookup service URL from the environment here. Okay, maybe we can compare the golden path in the Postman. Okay, here we're adding the party to simulator. But where are we adding the participant? I think that might be in the onboarding collection. Okay, so you can see the difference here. In the Postman, we should provide the whole URL, but in the testing toolkit, we need to select the API first and fill the host name only, not the whole URL. And also the path parameters. So this is the similar request, post repository parties. And we should select that here, post repository parties. And there is one header. So if we see the Postman, here content type is there, but we provided FSP source. I don't know why. And the body here. So you can see the body consists of this one. So we are reading the values from the environment. So this is how we create the request. And then let's look at the third one, which is asynchronous. Get parties is asynchronous, right, from the FSP IOP. So in case of asynchronous requests, in the response tab, we will get the synchronous response as well as the callback. So everything is same here. We provided the path parameters, which is ID type and ID value, and then the headers. Okay, see, if you can observe here, we are reading the environment variable for the accept header and for the content type header. But for the date, we need to generate date, right? So we can use this function. We can click on this button, add configurable parameters, and select the function here. And we have two functions for generating current date and for generating a random UUID. So yeah, we can select that and copy this and paste here. So in the codes also, if you observe the body of the codes, see here, this is function. We need to generate the quote ID randomly. So we can use this function. But in Postman, here to generate the body, we need to write that in the pre-request script. In the pre-request, here we are generating that and setting that to an environment variable, and we can access that in the body. But here we can directly use this function to generate the UUID. But if there are any other calculations or something, then we can use scripting here. So we can go to scripting after this. So yeah, here you can see the we accessed the previous callback. Because this is quotes request, we need to send the party ID type from the callback of the get parties, right? So this is get parties. If we send this ID, we will get a callback with the FSP and party information, right? So in the post quotes, we need to access that. So how to do that? We can click on configurable parameter here, and then previous response. And we need to select the request. So we need to get the response from the party, get party request. So let's select that. And then we can select the appropriate parameter. So we can take the values from the callback body or from the headers. So if we want FSP ID, we can select this. So copy this and paste it here. So this will be replaced by the callback of the previous request, callback of the party. So this is how we can access the previous callbacks and previous requests. In the Postman, we need to store that in environment variable in the previous request, and Here we need to access that that environment variable, but in the testing toolkit we can directly access the previous callbacks and previous requests. So that is about request building. So are there any questions still now?
I'm impressed that you can access the previous callbacks. It's very cool without having to store stuff in environment variables and all that kind of stuff. I think it really simplifies stuff. So yeah, very cool.
The most useful parts so far from Postman that is driving the distinction actually. Yeah. But also the API configuration that is already there.
Yeah.
Let's add a new request here, test one, and we need to select the API, FSPIOP, and suppose it's some post participants, or this one. So here, if we click on the headers here, add required headers, this will be the required headers from the Swagger file will be populated, and you can specify the values. But if you want to copy the headers of any other request, so you can go to that request and click on raw editor in the headers. Okay, copy this JSON and click on raw editor here and replace that. So that's it. Body anyway, you can copy the data directly. So this is how we can copy. If you want to duplicate the entire request, then you can click on duplicate. So this request will let's delete this and duplicate this request. So the same request will be added at the end of the test case. Okay, so let's see how to reorder the test cases. So if you want to move the newly duplicated request to some other position, so you need to close this editor, click on this one, and reorder request here. So you can move this request up and apply reorder. So you can see the request is reordered. Okay, let's delete this. Okay, let's go to scripting. So if you want to do any other functionality or any other complex calculations, you can write scripts. We have pre-request and post-request scripts. But in the case of Postman, pre-request script is there. Post-request scripts should be in the test tab. So in the test tab, we need to write assertions as well as the post-request logic. But in the testing toolkit, we separated that. We can write pre-request script here, which will be executed before the request, and post-request script, which will be executed after getting callback. And then separately, we can write assertions. So in the test tab, we can write only expect statements. So these are the just assertions. So let's see the scripts. Here we can write we can write scripts in two ways, JavaScript and Postman script. So previously we provided Postman script because if somebody want to migrate the tests from Postman to testing toolkit, they can directly use the syntax. They can copy the script and paste it here. But due to the limitations in the Postman script, we added JavaScript now. So we are encouraging people to use JavaScript only. Maybe in the future releases of the testing toolkit, we may remove the Postman script. So yeah, we should use JavaScript. So in the JavaScript here, we have WebSocket functionality. So in the Postman, let's see this quote. So here we are sending post quotes to the quoting service, and after certain timeout, we are getting the requests from the simulator and also the callbacks from the payer. From the payee, we are getting request. From the payer, we are getting callbacks. So after certain timeout, so we need to wait for this time before getting the request and callback. But in the testing toolkit, we are leveraging the WebSocket functionality of the scheme adapter. So scheme adapter can push messages through the WebSockets when it gets callback or requests. So we don't need to wait for certain time. So this is how we establish WebSocket connections. So we need to we need to provide the URL of the scheme adapter, WebSocket URL, which is similar to the HTTP URL. Yeah, I can show you that. Okay. So this is.
It's the same port, right? It's just the path that changes, right?
Yeah, only we need to replace HTTP with WS. Yeah, same port.
Okay.
Yeah, with Ingress also, we can just replace WS.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to provide that URL here and then the path request/ID. So this is the WebSocket URL and this is the name. We should provide a name so that we can access the inbound messages with this name in the post request script. So in the yeah.
Is there any reason why that's not like a unique identifier?
Yeah, we can provide unique identifier. We can provide whatever the name we like.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, a unique identifier to me would probably be better, because that means if someone else is running something somewhere else, you know, another one, it wouldn't impact this test. You guarantee that it's.
No. This name is the scope of this name is particularly with this test case execution. If somebody is executing another test run in another machine, then yeah, it won't mix it up.
Okay. And sorry, what is the dollar inputs to ID value? Sorry, what is that to ID value? So inputs.
Yeah,
I know
this is
what is
this
that?
is the environment. This is MSISDN value.
Is that the MSI thing?
This is the value from environment.
Okay. So where are you setting that? Just show me where you're setting it, just so I can see that.
Yeah, in the input values, environment file to ID.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool.
Here.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we need to give a name here, and then in the post, so this will connect to the WebSocket, and in the post request, we need to wait for the message using the same name. So this is WebSocket.getMessage, and the name we provided in the pre-request script, and some timeout. So if the payee simulator gets the callback, then the whole callback, including headers and body, will be stored in this variable. So we can use await statements. So this will wait for the callback. So here we are storing the callback value in the payee request. So we can make assertions in the test. So your callback P, okay, this one. Environment.payee request headers. So this is callback from the sorry, not callback. This is request from the payee, and we are making this assertion only if the environment variable is true. The enable WS assertions. So if we are not using the SDK scheme adapter or something, then we can disable this check. Everything will be disabled. So yeah. Yeah, we wrote conditions everywhere. So this is how we make the payee side or payer side requests and callbacks. Let's see the script in post codes. Yeah, this is also same. Okay, so scripts here we are using just for WebSockets. Let's see the scripts in another test case. Okay. Here also we are using WebSockets. You can see a function related to JWS here. So we are checking a value from the environment, JWS signing, and we can use this function custom.jws.sign request, and we should provide a key, FSP key. Then the testing toolkit will sign this request before sending this request. So it will sign that and include the FSPOP signature in the request, outbound request. And also we can use JWS validation functions. So this is validation, custom.jws.validate callback. And we should provide the callback headers and body and the public key. So this will validate the callback headers and body with the public key. So apart from the WebSocket functions, we can use JWS functions in the JavaScript. If we use Postman, we cannot use all these things.
Yeah.
So there are two types of validations. We can just validate the protected headers without, if we don't have public key, And we can validate the whole JWS signature with the public key.
And otherwise, you can write pretty much. What other JavaScript libraries do you have access to? Is it just standard, like non-imported JavaScript, right? So you can just do the usual if statements, anything like that. So anything that's normal straight JavaScript, right? That
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can use if statements, for loops, async await functions, and all.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool. That's pretty cool. So the only thing you can't do obviously is import libraries, right?
Yeah, we cannot do that.
And
We limited the functions to these WebSockets and some JWS functions. If we want anything, we can integrate that in the source and release a version. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you were going to ask?
Yeah, I was about to ask about it, how we can have some custom functions maybe if needed.
Custom functions, we need to refactor the source.
Okay.
Yeah, we cannot write here. Oh, if you want to import some library, but you can write functions like this using the ES6.
And can I
ES6 or ES5? Yeah, ES6.
can I
syntax.
stick them to the environment?
Sorry?
Can I keep them in the environment?
What do you?
I didn't
What do you?
get you.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused.
What do you mean by kick them in environment?
As a functions, as executable functions, can I call them in different test case or in different request?
Yeah, okay. So I will talk about scopes. So okay, I will explain about the function first, then I will explain about the scopes of environment and some variables. Okay, so you can write functions like this and you can call these here. Okay. Oh, okay. So you were asking, so if you want to write a function and call that function in another test case or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is also possible, but I did not try that. So maybe you can assign this function to the environment. Environment dot test function. Yeah, you should be able to call this function in another test case because I'm passing the environment as a whole object. I'm not passing it as a key value pairs. So it should be possible, but I did not test that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So okay, the environment here, if you set anything here, you can access this variable in the other test cases, in this test case or in any other test cases in the whole test case execution. We have something called request variables. Okay, so if you set a request variable, then you can only access this variable in this request only. So this is useful when you want to set something here in the post script and then make assertions on that. Then you can just use request variables. You don't need to use environment. So if you use this, we can use this variable in the assertions here. Okay.
All right.
But if you want to propagate the value to the following requests or following test cases, you need to set that in the environment.
All right.
sorry, in the tests, if you go to the tests on the right, sorry, you might have covered this, but in those boxes, right? Can you open those boxes? Like in a section? Is that straight JavaScript or is that Postman? What is this? Is this straight JavaScript?
It's Java, yeah, straight JavaScript.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, we can use expect statements.
Okay. And that has no bearing if you go to scripts and select Postman or whatever, that has no bearing on this, right?
Yeah, it is independent.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Yeah, so these expect statements are from Chai library. If you want to
Okay, so
see the
do you provide all the child library stuff?
Chai assertion library, so you can see the syntaxes here. So you can
Okay.
go through the API reference.
So does it provide all that stuff like should and assert and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should, I don't know. I just imported the expect. So
Okay. Not assert.
yeah, not assert, expect.
Okay.
Yeah, we should be able to use all these things.
Cool.
Okay, so to add a new assertion, let's add a new assertion, test one.
Yeah, you should add a little, like on any box that's JavaScript, there should be a little I or something that you can click on, and that just lists all the functions that are available. You should add something like that order.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So to add an assertion, we can use the inbuilt automation. If you want to assert on callback, then select the callback, and it will populate the appropriate callback of the request from the Swagger, and you can select a value. Callback equal to something, the amount from the callback. So callback.body dot this amount to be equal to 30. So it will populate something like this.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can alter this with the plain JavaScript. Okay. So to import test collection, we can use collection manager. To export this, suppose we imported this collection and we did some changes. So to save this file, we can click on export as zip file. Then a zip file will be downloaded. You need to unzip that and manually replace all the files in the repository. Because this is browser, it cannot access the local file system. So you should export as a zip file, unpack that, and replace the file. So to overcome this, we have a nice tool. I think we're running.
Is it already usable? Can we start using it?
Yeah, it's usable. I'm using that.
Nice.
Okay. Anyway, next meeting is stand up. So can I continue for 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just carry on in this meeting and do the stand up when you finished.
Okay. So we have a tool called Electron. To use that, you need to download the UI testing toolkit UI repository. So in the UI repository, you need to change the file electron/main.js. In this, you need to change this URL to the right right environment. So I already changed this to dev2. We need to provide the whole path, outbound request path. So you can copy the path here and provide that here. So if we open, if we start the electron, then it will load this this page. So after changing that, you can just execute npm.start, npm space run electron, npm run electron. So can you see the application?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the electron application with the Chromium based browser. So you can, if you maximize this, so this is like a native application. Okay, so let's see the test cases. Okay, I loaded the test cases in VS Code, so there are no changes, right? So I'm going to change a collection with the electron. So yeah, if you open the collection manager here, you can notice the open and save buttons instead of import and export. So you can click open folder. Okay, I loaded golden path. Then go to something here, P2P. Okay, I'm changing the name. Okay, I changed the name. And then we can just save that. Okay, let's see the changes here.
Yeah.
Oh, where's that?
Click the refresh button. Refresh. Yeah.
It should be refreshed actually.
Wrong folder. You probably accidentally formatted your hard drive.
Let's delete the request and save this. Let's see what happens.
Like it renamed your boot sector.
Sorry?
It renamed your boot sector on your hard drive. Here we go. So what happened there?
Maybe previously it was not saved somehow. But we should see the changes here.
Okay. And if you refresh it, does it automatically refresh it, or do you have to reload?
We have to reload that.
Okay, all right.
Why is it not working? Suppose I added it here. Save. I think somehow it is not working with the rename. If we change something here. Oh, send. No. Oh, I didn't save it. Yeah, if we rename something, it is not working, I will fix that issue. But if we change something in the headers and I change the scripts, so we can see the changes.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay, that is it from for now. So Valentine, you can use this and try to create some CGS request and yeah, ping me if you face any issue.
Sure, yeah.